The spectacle of raw power in a boxing ring has produced legendary moments, but few rival the brutal collision between Mike Tyson and the one man who dared to challenge his throne at the height of his dominance. At a time when Tyson reigned supreme, moving through the heavyweight division like an unstoppable force of nature, no opponent seemed capable of withstanding the storm he brought with every punch. Fighters stepped into the ring with him knowing that survival was a privilege and defeat was almost guaranteed. Yet out of nowhere rose a young, fearless contender whose fists cut through opponents like sharpened blades. His name echoed through the boxing world with a mixture of awe and dread, a name that even Tyson couldn't ignore. Donovan Razor Ruddock, a rising executioner, entered the scene with a level of confidence and violence that no one had seen in years. Ruddock didn't just win fights, he tore through opponents, dragging their reputations across the canvas and leaving them shattered in front of the world. He wasn't just powerful, he was inventive, creating a punch that would become infamous among boxers everywhere. The smash, a vicious hybrid of a hook and an uppercut, turned chins into glass and forced legends like Holyfield and Bowe to look the other way when opportunities arose. By the early 80s, Ruddock had climbed ruthlessly through the ranks, fearlessly calling out names bigger and more respected than his own. His arrogance was electric, his presence intimidating, and his hunger unmatched. And even with Tyson still ruling the division, Ruddock's rise became impossible to ignore. But behind the bright lights and flashing cameras stood the shadow of Don King, a promoter notorious for protecting his assets. Tyson at the time was boxing's crown jewel, and King wasn't about to put him at risk. For a while, the excuses flowed, the scheduling shifted, and Tyson supposedly battled illnesses that prevented him from facing the young challenger. Yet destiny had its own plans, and Tyson soon suffered the first defeat of his career at the hands of Buster Douglas, a loss that sent shockwaves through the sport. Tyson was humiliated and furious, ready to reclaim his crown through violence. He fought two opponents in rapid succession, destroying them both, but even that didn't satisfy him. He needed something more. Someone who could take punches and give them back. Someone who had challenged him publicly with no fear. And that someone was Razor Ruddock. Ruddock made the dramatic mistake of provoking Tyson directly, attacking his pride and questioning his supremacy. He presented himself as the man destined to dethrone the king, a man who could break Tyson the way Tyson had broken so many others. The boxing world held its breath. Tyson, angered and insulted, accepted the challenge. This wasn't just a fight, it was a declaration of war. Tyson entered the ring with a fire in his eyes, determined not to win on points or outlast his opponent, but to destroy him with a level of fury no one had seen since the earliest days of his career. From the opening bell, both men collided like wild animals unleashed from their cages. Tyson charged forward with the power of a raging bull, smashing Ruddock against the ropes and unleashing hooks that echoed through the arena. But Ruddock didn't fall. Instead, he answered with his signature smashes, trying to tame Tyson with the move that had demolished every man before him. The ring became a battlefield where neither warrior backed down for even a moment. Tyson attacked with a speed and accuracy that left the crowd stunned, and in the third round he sent Ruddock crashing to the canvas with a perfectly timed counterpunch. Yet Ruddock rose again and pushed forward, as if the knockdown ignited something inside him. As the rounds continued, Ruddock began landing frightening shots that rocked Tyson in ways fans had never seen. The audience, loyal to their hero, watched in horror as their champion took uppercuts that snapped his head back and momentarily staggered him. But Tyson refused to show weakness. His expression hardened, his resolve sharpened, and he unleashed combinations that forced the referee to make a difficult, controversial decision. In the seventh round, after Tyson poured on a brutal series of punches, the fight was stopped. Chaos erupted instantly. Ruddock wasn't unconscious or helpless. He was standing, furious, and demanding to continue the battle. The crowd roared with anger, craving the violence that had been stolen from them. Tyson himself looked unsatisfied. Both men knew the war wasn't finished. The promoters wasted no time setting up a rematch, knowing the world wanted blood. And once more, Ruddock tried to get into Tyson's head, taunting him before the fight and claiming the first bout's ending wasn't real. When the second fight began, Tyson charged forward like a man possessed, seeking revenge for every word Ruddock had thrown at him. Early in the fight, he sent Ruddock to the floor with a perfectly placed right hand, then knocked him down a second time, proving he was still the king of destruction. But Ruddock refused to stay down and fought back with the heart of a lion. His punches cracked against Tyson's jaw, forcing the champion to dig deeper than ever. Ruddock finally landed the smash he had been hunting for, a devastating blow that knocked Tyson's mouthpiece out and left him momentarily shaken. For a moment, It seemed as though the impossible was within reach. Ruddock pounced, firing hooks and uppercuts with reckless precision as Tyson began to fatigue. But champions aren't built from muscle alone. Tyson steadied himself and returned fire with deadly precision, fighting through exhaustion, pain, and adrenaline as both men exchanged monstrous blows. It felt less like a boxing match and more like two titans locked in a battle that neither could escape. By the end, both fighters stood battered and exhausted, the ring stained with the effort of their shared violence. When the final bell rang, Tyson walked away the winner by unanimous decision, having landed more clean shots and controlled more of the rounds. Yet even in defeat, Ruddock earned something priceless. He gained the respect of the boxing world and even of Tyson himself. He was the man who had pushed Iron Mike to his limits and forced him to fight with the heart of a warrior rather than the dominance of a king. Still, the aftermath of this rivalry was bitter. Tyson's prime ended shortly after, derailed by a series of personal disasters that led to prison. Ruddock, despite his incredible toughness, never fully recovered from the punishment Tyson dealt him and lost the most important fights that followed. Their rivalry ended as one of the most memorable, brutal, and emotionally charged chapters in boxing history, a reminder of what happens when two fighting spirits refuse to bow. If you enjoyed reliving this legendary clash, let me know which iconic boxing rivalries you want broken down next. Do you think Ruddock was Tyson's toughest opponent? And what era of boxing should we explore in future videos? Make sure to like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments so you never miss the next deep dive.